Hey guys, this is today's morning briefer quick here from me. This is Gary. So things I'm looking at right here. So we are bouncing off a critical head and shoulders bottoming area. We're coming off of that yesterday, bouncing up a little bit here. We got a cloud here. This flat area has proven to be support so far on our cloud. We're up to the next tier on the flat area. So as we come into today's session, if you zoom in down here on the 15 minutes, you see what we're doing right here. We're bouncing right off of that line from that cloud right here, right now. Okay. So keep that in mind right here. We lose this line, this support early on in the session. I think that is a short setting up into the morning session here. So let's keep an eye on that if we lose that yellow line. So that's 39.7120. If we start losing that here on the open this morning, you probably got an early short in the markets. This is a must hold area for a continuation higher, in my opinion. So definitely keep that on one. We are above our CPR numbers. Right now, it does look like it could be a bull trap. So definitely keep this on watch for a potential bull trap in the markets coming back down into, if not violating below our CPR. Keep in mind here on NASDAQ and Russell, we are still below August close on both of those guys. And here we are starting today's session. We are at the bottom side of the cloud, not the top side. We're on the bottom side. So this should be resistance. We're opening into possible resistance to start the session. So be aware of that. This flat area right here acted as support. So we're into this next flat area right here acting as resistance. And we have not gotten above that into an ECB rate hike decision today. So keep that in mind today. Nobody's even talking about a possible 1% rate hike. I'm still floating that idea. Everybody's focused in on this 3/4 point rate hike. You saw me draw that line right there. Look where it acted as resistance today. So yeah, that's what I love about using these settings on my itchy. I'm using the what am I currently using on that? I just put the 10 and 20 on there. Okay, and it's amazing. You just put the 10 and 20 on the itchy for your signals and how these levels really work. You know, and just keep it simple. Okay. So bottom line is, so we're going to be likely opening at or below the cloud, for our session on the NASDAQ, suggesting, we could have some early weakness in the market. So bottom line is, if we get above the pre-market highs, then you go long. If not, this is still a potential short area to start the session. Okay, so things that I'm looking at here, the Russell. So we are inside of our cloud on the daily. So on that regard, we are doing a little bit better than what we are doing versus the Nasdaq. And you notice how we're kind of like in limbo here on my cloud area. So obviously, I know some guys in the room, they took some Russell long overnight. Um, so that is your main resistance to the upside and duplicate here, and then our main supports down here. Only problem I got with this, it seems like we have a far smaller relative bounce off of the lows versus the highs, highs. And we coming off of critical support. I was really worried we were breaking down this week, and so far we haven't done that. So here's what I'm looking at here on the Russell. Uh, so this here's we're basically almost 50% between the two. So I can't really discern any big decision on that one on the Russell. This is my problem child, in my opinion, in the markets, like I had mentioned before yesterday. So I've really focused in on that because we were right down here yesterday morning, ready potentially to break down. That's what I was looking at yesterday, a potential breakdown in the Russell, and instead they came in and saved it. Thank God. But that's why I was so bearish on the Russell. I was talking about it yesterday morning. So one last thing I'm going to go over real quick here. Apple is so important. Since we got that debut behind us for the product launch. So what I'm looking at right here on Apple, you see this little cliff right here on my itchy. I'm just going to put a little trend line right there at the bottom of that, the cliff here. And that's what it looks like to me. It looks like a cliff, you know. And you guys can see where Apple this morning is trading in relation to that cliff signal. So we are right above that cliff signal here, holding support. So, you know, that does lean to think that they're going to try to support Apple initially this morning. So let's keep an eye on this. So, if we start accepting prices below yesterday's CPR on Apple, I think that is a short. So keep that in mind. You know, we're right here in that CPR area. So, you know, so let's look and see if they start rejecting this level as a signal for today's session. And I'm going to close it out right here with one of the strongest stocks yesterday. That was Tesla. You see right here, you got a cliff right here. Looks like we have some upside potential here in Tesla early on this morning into resistance right there. That's our resistance right there. That's why I don't want to be too bearish here, you know, because I think we do have potential to come back up here, test critical resistance, come up here, you know, early on this morning, suggesting that, you know, we could actually be getting an early bid here in Tesla. So heads up on that. That one, you know, that is one of our leading indicators. So definitely keep that one on watch. That's why I don't want to be too bearish here. I do want to keep that idea in the back of your minds. And then one final takeaway that I do want to float right here, guys. So bottom line is, so I mean, the more touches you have on a trend, the more relevant that trend is. So this is still early. I do want to float this idea I'm looking at here. This right here represented the breakdown of a critical support trigger. Okay, so if I anchored it right there on the breakdown point, draw that trend line straight across and see what where we're trading right here, right now in the markets. So, you know, in my opinion, what we got going on here is this is the trend we're currently trading in. So this potentially is a swing high if this trend is valid. So definitely keep this one on watch as a potential swing high going into today's session. So, you know, so basically, I already told you guys if we get above the pre-market highs, you go long. But right now, the downtrend seems to be very valid, and you got to be extremely careful to the upside. So that's my main takeaway. I can't wait to hear what Johnny's takeaway is, but that's what I'm thinking. You know, we're right there that I don't know. We may just have a doji day today as the markets are trying to decide which direction they want to take it in the face of a rate hike. So, and I really don't know. I think we're going to be at least 3/4, if not maybe even 1% on the ECB rate hike today. Okay.